Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Abby and I am a homeschooling mom of 4. We are wrapping up, I think, our 9th year of homeschooling, if you include the preschool years, which I do. My oldest is finishing 6th grade. I also have one finishing 4th, one finishing 1st, and one finishing pre-K 3, going into pre-K 4 next year. Instead of doing a curriculum review, because I almost choose the same curriculum year to year, and instead of doing like a review on what I thought of the curriculum itself, I wanted to share our hits and misses as a family with you guys. This year, more so than other years, our schedule took a lot of twists and turns. We had a lot of outside circumstances that we had no control over that really disrupted the plans that I had set out for the school year. Although, looking back on the school year, some of the experiences that we had as a family, I wouldn't change for the world and were the best opportunity in education. So in some ways, this was our best homeschooling year ever. And then in some ways, like on paper with the actual curriculum, it was probably one of our worst if you're judging by completed curriculum. Anyway, so I wanted to share our hits and misses with you and kind of share, as I reflect back on the last school year, what curriculum stood out to me as far as what we did and the memories that we made, and what curriculum we just didn't do so well with this year. A lot of it had to do with scheduling, not the curriculum itself. I refuse to say anything negative about any of this curriculum because I actually think every piece of curriculum that we selected for the last year was great. I love the curriculum itself. It just didn't work for our family in some ways. And so I don't want to say like I didn't like this curriculum, because what I'm really saying is I didn't like this curriculum for us, or I didn't like this curriculum for our year. And I don't want anyone to judge or make decisions based on whether something worked for my family of 6 here in South Florida, for your family of 5 or 7 in Minnesota. You know what I mean? So I just don't want you guys to make decisions based on whether something worked for us or not. But I also thought it would be interesting just to share like what did and didn't work for us this last year, and if you'll see it again next year. So if you are excited for this video, give it a thumbs up and let's get started. Today's video is sponsored by Reading Eggs. Reading Eggs is the multi-award-winning reading program for kids ages 2 to 13 that uses scientific research to help your child learn to read in just weeks. The program is designed by experts to deliver fast and proven results to prepare your child for school in the best way possible. Reading Eggs makes learning to read easy and fun. They have self-paced one-on-one lessons that match your child's ability, and they have fun animation, songs, characters, games. My kids really love Reading Eggs, and so I do as well. There are over 91% of parents that report a noticeable improvement in their child's reading ability within weeks. There are over 12,000 elementary schools who trust Reading Eggs worldwide, and it is developed by expert educators with over 30 years of experience. Reading Eggs has once again offered a 30-day free trial for Rooted in Rest subscribers. You can find this info in the description box down below. Thank you so much, Reading Eggs, for sponsoring today's video once again. And as I've said many times, my kids really enjoy this, and I do as well. They see it as a game. It's really helped their comprehension. It's really helped enforce key skills. And I really love that there's something for each of my kids' ages at their own level. There's no competition. They all have their own profile and can use it in their own unique ways, and it matches each of their skills perfectly. So thank you, Reading Eggs, and make sure you guys check out that free trial down below. All right, I'm gonna start with the hits and tell you the things that were just a big old thumbs up for us this school year. And like I said in the intro, just because something was a hit this year doesn't mean that it will be a hit next year. That's definitely something I'm learning in time. I look back on some years like we used curriculum that was like such a win for us that year, and then just because of our schedule or circumstances, it just didn't work the next year at all. And so I'm learning to be thankful for the memories that we made with each curriculum, but not hold the curriculum like on a pedestal and assume that it's always going to be perfect for us, because that could end up becoming a disappointment. Another thing I want to mention, I'm going to link up here to last year's last year's curriculum week, where I lay out all the curriculum we used. I'm not going through every single piece of curriculum in this video. I'm pulling out the few that like really made an impact, that were hits, and then a few that were just not great for us this last year. And there's like so much in between that I'm not going to share, because there are so many little bits and pieces that I use in our homeschool. So if it doesn't have a mention here, you can just assume that it went fine for us. I don't have anything like that stood out to me as far as why it did or didn't work for us. It's just, you know, everyday homeschool for us, and it just didn't stand out. So if it's not here, don't think it's because we didn't use it or because, you know, we're not using it again. It was just normal for us, like normal school stuff for us. So number one hit, when I look back on this school year, and most unexpected, honestly, exploring nature with children. This was one of our top best done subjects this last school year. It's our nature study curriculum. It's the Charlotte Mason influenced, you know, nature study, and I just love it. I really, really love it. I hope it works for us forever. I chose to just get the curriculum and not the student journal as well. My kids use their own notebooking journals or their own nature journals from Anna Vance. I just love everything about this. We did this with a friend some weeks and some weeks on our own. It's got like a very gentle, lead them on a nature walk. Here's a few leading thoughts. There's some extension activities if you're interested. And I think that's the reason why this worked so well for us this last year, is because when our schedule was thrown off, it was easy for me to still find space to do this in some form, and I wasn't held to some standard of like, there's no way we're gonna finish this lesson. Some weeks it was just the nature walk. Some weeks it was the nature walk, all the extension activities, and the whole shebang. Some weeks it was somewhere in between. So this curriculum, when I look back on this past 2020 to 2021 school year, I probably have the most pictures of, I probably have the most memories of, and everybody probably has the fondest memories of in our homeschool. So this was the biggest hit this last school year. Next, I did expect this, so it shouldn't be any surprise to you. 5 in a row. I did 5 in a row with my boys and Annabeth this year, and Bella ended up coming in on so much of it because she loves 5 in a row too. Like I said, no surprise, but because I kind of reworked our schedule to include this more often, you guys know this is like my all-time best, favorite, most memories made ever curriculum. So this past year I redid our schedule to include it more. In years past, I had done just like a day a week or so. But when we first started homeschooling, we did this every single day. It was our main curriculum. So I really enjoyed bringing it in with a little bit more, giving a little more time to it this school year. And I should have known that it would have been, again, one of our top contenders. My boys were so interested in so much of this that we lingered on every single unit a little longer than I expected to every single time. So they loved this. We did not get through all the rows that I had planned because we stayed on some for a very long time. And we had so many extension opportunities. We took a lot of trips. We did a lot of field trips and a lot of crafts and a lot of notebooking and narration, and had a lot of fun with this. And so this past school year, this was a very sweet hit for us. Next, another one that's no surprise, but just in general, the Simply Charlotte Mason company's enrichment activities, the poetry, composer, artist study, habits. These are, Sonia Schaefer, Simply Charlotte Mason is a tried and true and trusted company for us. And the way that the guides are written to parents and the gentle way of teaching for the students, I mean, I can't say enough good things about this. And specifically the different enrichment type of like things I use in Morning Basket, I've used for years. I'm familiar with it, and it's just easy for me. I think a lot of times with curriculum, it's less about what my kids think about it and more about how teachable it is for me. And that's just straight up always gonna probably be in these types of videos as a favorite, because it makes things that I don't think I could have otherwise taught, like teaching about a composer or a poet. That's like so not my strength at all. It makes it so enjoyable for me and for my kids. So next, Story of the World. I love history. I love the way Story of the World teaches history. I have done Story of the World with friends for years. We've formed our own little mini co-op that we've done for years and years. And so it's kind of a mixture of the curriculum itself, along with the fact that we do this with friends. That has always made this an absolute favorite. I think that the writing style really makes history come alive, at least for me. I really appreciate the activities and the activity guide. And we also use the CD. We used the CD this entire year. I don't think I actually read aloud any chapter to the kids this year. And so I sat in and listened as well. And that kind of made it more fun for me this year as well. So Story of the World was another hit. When I look back on the school year, we stayed consistent with that. And I think I might have already said this, but some of these things I chose as like our top, you know, best, most well done subjects from this last year, because the year was so bumpy, but these were the things that I noticed we stayed consistent in. And most often the reason that we stayed consistent in it is because it was really much more simple for me to teach and didn't require too much effort from me. And then last but certainly not least, all about reading. Level 2 for Eli this year. I'm very excited because I think I'm starting Annie with this next year as well. Not level 2 obviously, but all of my kids have gone through All About Reading Level 1 and All About Reading Level 2. They're in kindergarten and first grade, and it's just been a different experience with each of them, and all of their personalities and learning styles are very different. So with each kid, one kid really enjoys the flashcards more, one kid enjoys the letter tiles more, one kid enjoys the activities or the storybooks. And this year, I just really enjoyed this time with Eli. I think it's really special to have something that, you know, I just have so many memories invested in this curriculum. And so it's just fun to have them one-on-one, each of them throughout the years, and have a different experience with the same curriculum. And once again, this is a very well-loved subject by him. He specifically, so Isabella really loved the activities. Jesse really loved the flashcards and letter tiles, and it really helped him a lot. Eli really loved not just reading the books, but the actual stories in the books. Like, he loved the stories and the books, and he just seemed so confident every time that we did a lesson this last year. We actually haven't finished the curriculum for the year yet. We've just gone slow. He's a great reader. It's kind of more like I mark our way through it just to make sure we're not missing anything, but he loved this. And I'm really sad that I usually stop after level 2, and I'm really kind of sad that he's finishing this up, because once again, that was one of our most consistent, well, really actually we took quite a break, but when we started back up again, we stayed consistent with it, and one that just has a positive memory attached to every lesson. I don't think we had one struggle day with that curriculum this year. So, and then the last curriculum that I kind of want to give like an honorable mention to was teaching textbooks. Because of the new upgrade, my kids, it just gave them such a boost, and we stayed more consistent with teaching textbooks this year than we ever have. And I mean, Eli is just so excited to start that next year as well. They just love teaching textbooks. They always have enjoyed it, but this year they really flew through it much faster than ever. We still have some lessons reserved to continue over the summer. I like to space it out throughout the course of an entire year and not just a school year, so they stay consistent through the summer. But this year it wasn't like a rush to get to the point of, you know, say like typically I want to get through 90 lessons during the school year and leave about 30 for the summer. That's just a rough guess. It's not really how I do it. But this year we were already there. We almost didn't have lessons left for the summer because they have just been really consistent with it. They've woken up and gotten on and gotten it done a lot of days before we even start our official school day. So teaching textbooks is the last one that I wanted to share. So those are the subjects that when I kind of look back on our year, I pick right off the, I pull right off the top and say like, oh, we did really well. We stayed consistent in these particular subjects. And they stand out to me just because of everyone's mutual enjoyment of the subject. So those are my curriculum hits for the 2020-2021 school year. Moving into the misses, a couple of these I forgot we even owned. That's how much of a miss it was. And then a couple of these we really struggled through. And I can tell you exactly why we struggled through them. So again, this is nothing against each particular piece of curriculum. It's more so like a scheduling thing for us that it just didn't work out well for us. So as I was going through last year's curriculum choices videos in preparation for this video, I wanted to see like, what did I give more weight to last year? What was I most excited about? Or I kind of wanted to like feel my feelings out through that video of like, what was I expecting for this upcoming school year versus what really happened? And it's kind of funny, but I saw typing on my curriculum choices video and I was like, well, look at that. We own a typing curriculum. So that's how far the wheels fell off of our bus this homeschooling year. I totally forgot we even owned this, if that's any indication of how we did with typing. So when you see typing come up again in my curriculum choices video next year, and you're like, wait, typing 1 and typing 2 again? I thought that they did typing 1 and typing 2 last year. I'm just as surprised as you are. Yeah, so typing 2 for Isabella, typing 1 for Jessie. They each got a few lessons in and then I forgot it existed. I don't know why. I need to really get better about using my planner specifically, like for specific subjects, and then maybe checking back in the week prior so that I'm making sure I'm using every subject. But yeah, typing, I don't even know what happened. I don't even have a reason for why we forgot about it. No clue. I don't know where that went, because the year prior when Bella did typing level 1, she actually did pretty well with it. So your guess is as good as mine as to why that didn't work out for us this year, but we will be using it again next year because she did enjoy it. I like the way it's set up. I just forgot about it this year. Something that I didn't forget about and we tried really hard to make work was Isabella's history and then the geography that went along with it that I wanted to use as a family. So the reason this didn't work, and I really stand behind this curriculum, especially if you're using it as a full family, I think it's a really great curriculum. The reason it didn't work for us is that it's really set up to be done 5 days a week, and we really don't have 5 school days a week. We have a day that's for enrichment studies, we have a day that's for history or field trips or experiences, and we have 3 like solid school days during the week. And that's why we're year-round homeschoolers. We kind of just like carry that mindset through all year round. And so we aren't like 5-day-a-week homeschoolers. This really works much better with a traditional schedule. It's just 3 days a week is not really enough to stay consistent with these stories, the narrations. This is really, I would say, if we were like traditional September through May homeschoolers who homeschool Monday through Friday, almost every day is a typical like curriculum bookwork kind of day, this would have worked better for us. I really wanted to make it work. I really tried. I thought it was a me scheduling thing, so I really tried to schedule it in more, and it really just didn't work for us, and I'm sad. I'm gonna keep it because I can't say forever that, you know, the schedule we use or the reason it didn't work for us is, you know, will always be our situation. So I'm gonna hang on to it because like I said, like I think it's a great curriculum. I think it's really interesting. I really had high hopes for this because I bought all of the extra resources, the picture portfolios and all the readers. I mean, I invested probably the most money in this curriculum this last year, but it just didn't work for our schedule, and that's okay. I'm also getting used to having one who's working more independently and then having like family subjects for the others. And so it might have been another factor in it. It's just that, you know, I didn't make the right amount of space for it, and at one point I did assume that she could just do it completely on her own and she needed more guidance from me. But there were a lot of factors into why that didn't work for us this year. If we were using that as a family, if I didn't love Story of the World as much as I love Story of the World, that would have worked for us to do as an entire family. But as an independent subject and not having 5 full days a week, it just didn't work out for us this year. The next miss was language, foreign language. Pretty shortly after, almost just a couple weeks after I filmed our curriculum week video last year, I mentioned in another video at some point that Rosetta Stone just was no longer a great fit for our family. And without like getting into too many details, it just didn't really work for us anymore. And I just had noticed that I had tried to make it work for a lot of years and it just really didn't work. Around November of the school year, I found language programs that actually really did work for our family. But it was kind of like we were already really consistent in our schedule, and it was just very awkward to try to force it, or not to try to force, but it was very awkward to try to fit that in, and it just didn't quite work out. So I will be using the language programs, I think, that I found last year mid-year. I want to look back through it this summer, spend a little bit of time prepping for it, but I found what I like. It's just I found it a little too late last year. So language was another thing that just kind of fell off my radar, especially when things got very difficult and very inconsistent in our schedule this school year. And then the last thing, and there's really no reason other than my bad choices that this didn't work for us this year, but using Language Well and Spelling Wisdom, we have used this for 3 years now. Eli will start using it not next year, but the year after as well. I really love this curriculum. I like the way it's set up. I like the way it operates. But when it came down to the nitty-gritty of like getting some book work done, this is the thing that I'm least concerned with my older two, because I don't see a lot of errors in their writing or in their composition necessarily, and so this was kind of on the bottom of my list to get done. However, that's not a wise decision, because I think that language, using Language Well, spelling, they're both things that should be kept up with consistently, whether I think it needs to be or not, whether I'm seeing like a struggle or not. And so we're behind. We are about, I would say that, to be totally honest with you, we're probably about at the midway point of last year, of this past school year, and we should be like at least 3/4 of the way done to leave a little bit for the summer. So we're gonna be rolling through this through the summer. We're also going to still be rolling through this past year's next school year, but then by, I would guess, the fall, we should be getting into the next level for each of them. But this was just a straight up my fault. I feel like that's gonna give me some thumbs down on this video, that I'm like being totally honest and just saying like I made a choice to not pursue it. But you know, when you have years that are just not easy, you end up making decisions like that. But it's okay, because you have time to recover, Lord willing, recover that in time. But yeah, I was just making really rapid decisions this year on what took priority and what didn't, because we had a lot of things that were on fire this year in our lives, and just required our attention, or required some compassion, or required some comfort or whatever, for my kids. It was a busy year. Lots of stuff this year that was out of our control. Lots of really great stuff for our family, lots of really difficult scheduling stuff for our family, and lots of kind of hard personal stuff outside of our families. So that's my full detailed hits and misses from the last school year. And like I said in the beginning of this video, and I'll repeat it once again, the reason that each of these were either a hit or a miss for us this last school year was a totally personal thing for our family and our schedule, and does not mean that they will be hits or misses next school year, or that it was a curriculum issue itself. So you'll see a lot of these same things next school year, and I didn't want to influence your decision on specific curriculum based on whether it worked for us or not. I think all of this curriculum, whether it worked for us or not last year, is great. It's just that personal circumstances change, and sometimes we can't stay consistent for various reasons. And I certainly had some consistency issues this school year. So I hope that was helpful. If it was, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments down below. Thank you so much, Reading Eggs, for sponsoring today's video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, guys.